Hello everyone. In this video, I'll go into how to create a bashed patch and talk about what other uses you might find beneficial while using it. The only real reason you need to use Wrye Bash these days is to make a bashed patch, which resolves conflicts. It's also the quickest and easiest way to merge records and level lists into your game. There are many other features available in Wrye Bash, however, there are alternatives available now for those other features, so many people have moved away from using Wrye Bash. So what is Wrye Bash? Wrye Bash is a powerful mod management utility for games based on Bethesda's creation engine. It shares many features with a traditional mod manager. It acts as a mod installer and conflict manager. It allows you to change the load order of your mods. It allows for increased mod compatibility. It can actually merge mods in its bash patch, allowing you to disable the extra plugins. It allows you to edit the ini file and tweak extra hidden settings. It's a screensaver manager, and much more. Now that all that is out of the way, let's get started with the installation. The link will be in the description. Head over to the File tab and find the installer. Notice that the first one is an auto installer, but it only works on the Steam version of Skyrim. For this tutorial, we'll be using the standalone version, as it works on every PC version of Skyrim. Download the standalone installer at the bottom of the page, and when it's finished, open up the 7-zip file to extract Wrye Bash into a folder where you can find it later. As a personal rule, I always have a folder named Tools in the root of my Skyrim folder. Here I keep all the tools that I like to use with Skyrim and link to my mod organizer. It helps keep everything nice and neat and easy to find, as using tools with mod organizer can be frustrating if not set up correctly. Now we'll add Wrye Bash to our mod organizer to be able to use it on our mod list. Head to the drop down on the top right and click on Edit. Once here, click on the plus sign on the top left of the pop-up window, then Add from File. Now you'll browse the folder where you placed the Wrye Bash executable and select it. Even though we have configured Wrye Bash to open up with our mod organizer, Wrye Bash will still try to auto-detect your Skyrim install. I have several mod lists installed, so for me Wrye Bash picks up my Steam installation of Skyrim. To change this, go down to the box that says Arguments and type -o space open quotation, and once you paste your Skyrim install path, close quotations. Hit apply and OK. And you can use that argument with any other tool that you're having an issue launching in Mod Organizer. Now we're ready to use Wrye Bash. Upon opening, Wrye Bash will notify you of any older plugins that you have installed that are Form 43, which is what Skyrim LE uses instead of Form 44 that Skyrim SE uses. You can convert these using the creation kit by loading them and saving them individually one at a time. For now, we'll ignore these. Wrye Bash looks a lot like a mod manager, except all the colorful text you see on each mod means something. You can read the legend and find out what each color means. Black represents a regular mod, while all the pink ones are ESL files. There is some green as well. These mods are eligible to be converted into ESL. It's important to note that a mod with over 2,000 records should not be converted into an ESL, as it would lose some functionality. Wrye Bash will let you convert any mod that is convertible to ESL. However, that doesn't mean you should. You should only convert mods to ESL that you are certain do not have thousands of records. This is mainly reserved for weapon and armor mods. However, there are some very small mods that can be turned into ESL without consequence. I recommend keeping a backup of any file that you are trying to convert. I also don't recommend using Wrye Bash for converting mods to ESL. Xedit is much safer for this. This timescale mod is a good example of a mod that you can convert to ESL, as it only changes how long a day in Skyrim is. However, using Wrye Bash, we're about to make this mod obsolete. Next, scroll to the bottom of the mod list and you'll see that Wrye Bash has added a bashed patch to your load order. Right-click and select Rebuild Patch. Wrye Bash will now inform you that any mods in your load order that are incompatible with the process, so simply deselect them here and press OK. The next window is very useful and a good reason to still use Wrye Bash if not for the bashed patch as well. This step will help you resolve placement order on your mod load order, and this window will show you any Delinquent Masters that you might have in your load order. Basically, this means that the masters are lower than the dependent mods / patches, so all you have to do is reverse their order. I'll show you a quick example with the Embers mod and how I go about it. We'll close out of Wrye Bash and do a quick search for Embers. Notice that the main ESP is below all the patches, so just reverse the order by placing the master on top. Now let's see how we did by loading Wrye Bash again and attempting to rebuild our patch. Scrolling down, we see that the Embers mod errors have all disappeared. So next we'll do that with all of the errors. One way that I like to do this is by taking a screen snip of Delinquent Masters window and closing out Wrye Bash while I manually resolve all the errors. When we're finished, we can load up Wrye Bash again and rebuild our patch. You might still have certain issues that you can't resolve. For instance, din.dolod has dependent ESM files above it. However, din.dolod should remain at the bottom of your load order. So in this case, we can simply deactivate all of these other mods before building our patch. Remember that you can use Wrye Bash as a mod manager to deselect the mods. Do this instead of closing it out. If the mods you are deactivating have dependencies, Wrye Bash will inform you that it will deactivate them as well. And once that's done, we can finally build our bash patch for the first time. Now we've reached the bashed patch options. You can ignore all of this and simply click build patch. However, there are a lot of goodies in here that you should take a look at. As you scroll down the left window, notice that the mods affected will appear on the window on the right, and there you can deselect any that you don't want included in the bashed patch. There are certain settings that can be adjusted in all of the tweak options. Most of these can be edited by simply right-clicking and selecting a predetermined value, or by clicking on Custom and adding your own. There are several options here that you can tweak that will allow you to alleviate space in your mod load order. Many tweaks here can be adjusted, will take place of certain mods that you already have, so you can remove them. For instance, I am removing the weights for ingredients and potions respectively. Also, if you go to tweak settings, here you have a playground you'll be busy for days. What I'm looking for specifically is the time of day timescale. I can now set the time of day to 1 hour per 1 hour, and I'll be able to remove that one mod in my load order. The plethora of settings that you can change or tweak are massive. From weapon speed to how many arrows are recovered from a fallen enemy, to how much stamina is drained from sprinting. You can permanently change your jump height and sprint speed. You can change how many summons you have at once, or how many runes can be placed at once. I recommend spending some time here, as you might be able to find some settings that can be tweaked that you're currently using a mod for. And when you're done, hit build patch. This can take a few minutes, so go grab a drink or go check on someone.
A few minutes later.
Once it's finished building your patch, you get a log with all the records added to the patch. Wrye Bash will then ask you if you want to activate the patch. Hit yes. On the window on the right, you can see the hexadecimal index of all the mods that are now masters of the patch. If you make any changes to your load order, including indexing, meaning their positioning, you should rebuild your patch. But as an added bonus, the patch is ESL flagged. Now we'll exit and go back to Mod Organizer. Right-click on your load order and reactivate all of your mods. The bashed patch should remain at the very bottom of your load order. Removing any of the masters will result in an error, so if you want to do this, rebuild the patch when making any changes to your load order. Mods that are not incorporated in your patch do not affect the patch. However, if you do remove any mod at all, it will affect the indexing of your list. So, I would suggest rebuilding the patch every single time that you make any changes to your mod list.